Hey loves, welcome back to Untamed Ember, where we strip away the shame, unlearn what's been holding us back, and dive into the real, raw, and ridiculously fun science of pleasure. I'm your host, Dr. Misty, and today we're talking about something that every single one of us has experienced at some point. The art of waiting, the slow burn, the almost touch, or, as I like to call it, the delicious agony of anticipation. Because let's be real, sometimes the buildup is even hotter than the final moment itself. But why does waiting make things feel so good? Why do our brains love the tease? And more importantly, how can you use this in your own life to enhance your pleasure in ways you might not have even considered yet? Buckle up, love. We're about to nerd out on some seriously sexy science. All right, let's start with a question. Have you ever noticed that the anticipation of something can feel even better than the thing itself? Waiting for a text from someone you have a crush on? The almost kiss moment in a movie that makes you scream at the screen? That moment before a roller coaster drops, where your stomach is in knots, but you love it? That's because your brain is wired to crave anticipation. This isn't just about romance or sex. It's about the way we experience all pleasure. So let's talk dopamine. Dopamine is your brain's reward chemical, and it gets released when you're excited for something. But here's the kicker. Dopamine doesn't just show up when you get what you want. It actually spikes higher during the anticipation phase than the reward itself. Which means the waiting makes pleasure more intense because your brain is hyping it up. The uncertainty of what's coming next makes your body more alert and sensitive. And the longer the buildup, the more your brain values the final moment. This is why teasing feels so good, why cliffhangers and TV shows drive us wild, why a well-crafted slow burn in a romance novel makes us feral. Anticipation isn't just fun. It's a literal neurological pleasure amplifier. All right, so now that we know why anticipation feels so good, how do we use it? This is where sensory play comes in. Sensory play is all about engaging or restricting different senses to enhance pleasure. Why does this work? Because when one sense is limited, your brain compensates by enhancing the others. Let's break this down. Blindfolds. When you take away sight with a blindfold, your skin becomes more sensitive. Your brain has to fill in the blanks, which heightens the anticipation and the excitement. Whispering and soft sounds. Have you ever noticed that lower sounds make you lean in closer? The softer something is, the more your brain pays attention to it. Temperature play. Warm breath on the skin, the contrast of something cool against heat. The change in sensation tells your brain, this is new, pay attention. Pauses and delays. Stopping right before the peak and waiting, your brain loves that tension. These little changes create contrast, and contrast is what makes anticipation irresistible. Think of it this way. If you eat cake every single day, it stops feeling special. But if you have to wait for it, you smell it baking, see it being frosted, and then finally take that first bite, heaven. That's how I feel about wedding cake. I love going to weddings specifically for the cake. Okay, now let's really nerd out for a second. There's a famous psychological experiment. Some of you might have seen it on YouTube, called the marshmallow test. It's with little kids. Researchers gave kids one marshmallow and told them they could eat it now or they could wait 15 minutes and get 2 marshmallows instead. The kids who waited, you should watch this video, it's so cute. The kids who waited actually showed higher levels of patience, focus, and long-term satisfaction later in life. Now, we're not here to talk about marshmallows, but the lesson applies to pleasure too. The longer you delay gratification, the more your brain intensifies the final reward. This is why edging, pausing before climax, can make release more intense. It's why countdowns to vacations make the trip feel more exciting. It's why teasing texts build tension before seeing someone in person. Your brain isn't just about what you experience. It's about how you build up to it. And the best part, you can train your brain to enjoy anticipation even more. So, if anticipation is literally fuel for pleasure, how do we start playing with it? Well, I've got you covered. I put together a fun worksheet for this episode over on Patreon. It's called The Art of Anticipation, and it's got a whole dopamine experiment where you can test out delayed gratification in certain areas of your life. I've got some examples there and then some areas where you can fill in your own ideas. There's even a section where you get to create your own tease strategy. So if you want to explore exactly what makes anticipation feel the best for you, go check it out. The link's in the show notes. All right. Now let's talk practical application. How do you bring anticipation into your own pleasure experiences, solo or partnered? Slow it down. If you usually go from 0 to 100 fast, try extending the warm-up. Build the excitement longer than usual. Another way is playing with teasing. Whether it's texting, touch, or even just eye contact, hint at what's coming without giving it all away. Another excellent way, use your senses. Engage one sense at a time. Slow it really down. Whisper instead of speaking normally. Use sound for play. Lightly graze instead of grabbing, using touch for play. Build the contrast. And a fourth way, try a pleasure delay challenge. The next time you're about to indulge in something you love, food, touch, anything, pause for a moment longer than usual. Notice how your body reacts, building that excitement. Waiting makes everything hotter, and now you know exactly why. All right, loves. That's our deep dive into the science of anticipation. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever noticed that waiting makes something better? Drop your thoughts in the comments or DM me on our socials. I love hearing from you. And I'm working on writing a little mini book about this exact topic, so keep your eye out for that too. If you want to hear more of me and of Untamed Ember, follow us on our socials on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. And if you're ready for more deep dives into pleasure, sensory play, and breaking free from all the rules that don't serve you, join the Untamed Ember community. Check out the link in the transcript. Since we're just starting out here at the Untamed Ember podcast, please like this episode, subscribe, leave a review, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Help me build this community up. Until next time, loves, stay untamed.